3 ways basically that you can run these wires. Number 1, you can buy the cute little thing and drill through the top of the vehicle to install it. That, however, would be kind of silly, and it would negate being able to do the no-drill solar panel installation by taping these panels down. So we'll throw that one out the window. I included it because I know somebody is going to mention it. So that leaves us with 2 ways to route these wires. The first one is going to be coming through a side window, and while I mentioned it, I didn't show it. So here it is. And remember, I had that one wire that was red colored, and I told you I was going to put electrical tape over it just so it wouldn't be as noticeable. Depending on your van, you may have those side vent windows that have a latch on them, and they will only open up and they will be about that wide. This one happens to have power windows. There's a little switch on the driver's door, so I can open that up or close it anywhere in between, whatever distance I need it to be. So I will bring it back over to it to where it is tight, but I'm not trying to force it down and get it as tight as possible, because I'm okay if there is a little bit of gap around it. But there is very little of a gap around it if you compare it to the window on this side. Generally, I crack one or both of those at night anyway for air. In the summertime, I have a little fan sitting there that pulls air in through my cracked side window and blows it basically into my face and over top of me. So it doesn't make any difference. Is it possible you would have a drop or 2 of water come in? Yeah, maybe. Is it possible that bugs could come in around it? Yes. But if I'm in a heavily mosquito-infested area, I don't even try to fight that anymore. I simply relocate. And usually, just relocating a couple of miles away from wherever I am will solve that mosquito problem. If the mosquitoes are that bad that has to be a concern for you, and I have been in that situation before when I've been in Louisiana, Mississippi, then that little bit of crack that might let 1 or 2 more mosquitoes in, that's the least of your problems. Because when you have to open any other door to get in and out of your vehicle, you're going to have 15 mosquitoes coming in. So if you're in one of those situations, it is that horrible, horrible battle with mosquitoes that you will not win short of relocating. If it makes you feel better, and I may end up doing this myself, you could put a little piece of self-adhesive foam around it that just comes on a little roll. You can get at any home hardware type store. One side that has adhesive on it, little peel-off strip, and just mold it around the inside of that window to fill the rest of that space around where that cord is. As far as those cables being crimped, it did put a tad bit of a crimp on there, but nothing so bad that it is going to hurt anything. That once you have that inside your window, then because this is a 10-foot, which I recommend at least, extension cable, you can route this around however you need to. So in my case, I'm coming through the window on the other side. I'm running those cables behind the back seat, behind the bed, up this side, and into my power station right here. Now, before I get to the third way, I'm going to give you an option that I'm going to choose not to do, which would technically be a 4th way, which is to run it down through these sliding doors. These are heavy, they do have a lot of pressure, and even though you do have some type of seal that runs all the way around here, it is a pretty hard material that is the seal on most of these sliding doors. I probably would not do that. And I just wouldn't do that because I think the better way to do it is to run it through the rear lift-up hatch instead. So in order to show you that, I am going to disconnect these wires and reroute that cable instead of through the side glass through that back hatch. So let's do it. So here we are. I open this window up. Here's all this excess cable that we need to do something with. and that something is going to be bringing it down through here. Now, there is not enough of a gap with this up for me to come down through the middle, so I am going to have to come down on the side of one of these hinges. Something like this. Is it possible to crimp a line? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it is going to crimp the cables to do this when you shut the hatch. It's also going to crimp the cables a little bit when you shut the window. But as long as you're not bending these things together, these things are tough enough, they are going to survive a little bit of a crimp. So I could take a piece of my white Eternabond, put it right here just to hold these cables so they aren't moving around, and then this would drop inside like that. And at that point then I could route these cables possibly under here and take that right on around where I need it. Here's the end of our cables. Plug these back in, good to go. So it is going to come down to personal preference as far as which way you want to run those. Personally, I would not do it through these side doors, but I have seen people do it. I would do it either through the rear window or I would do it through the hatch. And the hatch is probably a liftgate hatch is probably the cleaner way to do it. I think I'm probably going to leave mine that way. I'm going to open it back up, stick a piece of Eternabond on there just to hold the wire steady. I think that is probably the way I will leave mine, because that's going to make it a little more stealthy than if I drop it through that side window. Put any questions or comments you have down below. If you think there is a better way to do something, I'm all ears. I'm always learning. Even after 7 years of being in and out and on these trips, I am still learning, and I'm still learning better ways to do things. Any questions you may still have, put those down below. I'll try to answer them. Other people that watch these videos will try to answer them. As always, let me know what I might be able to make a video on that would help you out, get started, or continue on with your own adventures. And we'll talk soon.